What you doing? I'm your otaku container, the theacstories, and this is alcohol and anime. And it is a special one. For nothing, no other dumb reason than I take notes by hand in a notebook for these alcohol animes. If you follow my Ko-fi and Patreon, which if you do, thanks. You see, I post those notes, and this movie, not movie, OAD, I guess, was the last page of notes in a notebook, and the first time in my life I have filled out a notebook. I've used so many notebooks, never actually finished one, but that's a side note. Just something special. It's kind of like a weird sentimental moment for me. So dumb. Anyways, well, I don't need to introduce what I watch because you probably figured out by clicking on this for some reason. I don't know what I'm going to call this one. Something. Okay. I watched The Girl from the Other Side. Okay. Also, with, I don't know, subtitle Seul, Rune. I don't know what the fuck that means. Just seeing, I don't know if that's another language, if it's gibberish. I don't know. Or in Japanese, Tosukuni no Shoujo, meaning foreign girl. Yeah, I watched this. It's an OAD, not really a movie. Sorry. But before I talk any more about this, I'll use that burp as a transition into what I drink. And I won't say it's the most creative thing. I am a little proud of it just because of coincidence. When I was trying to think of what to drink, I knew I'll be watching this movie. I didn't really know anything about it. Besides, there's this kind of like black shadow character. The other things are, I don't know, black. There's just, I don't know. So I was like, what's a black drink? I was like, there's like Jaeger. And like, I don't want to do that. I already did that again. That one seems to pop up every now and then. Somewhat fitting for some of the stuff I watch. And then I was like, I don't really want to buy anything either because I'm in a weird point in my life where I'm, starting to really rely on that Ko-fi and Patreon message before. So I'm trying to not buy as much stuff. So I looked around and was like, well, what do I have? Before this became an issue, I luckily did stock up on stuff. not really stock up on liquors, but beers and sort. And I coincidentally had a lot of blackberry flavored stuff. It's not that coincidentally. It's because my significant other, who I live with, really likes blackberry stuff. And I was like, I need black stuff. This is blackberry. I was like, how about something blackberry themed? And I skipped theme. How about just mix everything that has blackberry in it? So I had blackberry or Jack Daniel's blackberry tea. Just recently got some blackberry limeade from Simply Spiked. Had some blackberry soju. Forgot I was doing this and drank the blackberry soju by myself, so I don't have that for this. Because I had a overwhelming feeling to just drink one day. And that was kind of the little casualty from that, is drinking that up. And then I had Pepsi Zero. So just to get it darker, because it turns out limeade and tea isn't very dark on its own, so I used just the Pepsi to darken it up. So it was just those three things, and it was actually pretty good. It was a good drink. I also got a weird glass. I'll post it on Instagram because I keep meaning to do that, but I also post it Ko-fi and Patreon. Sorry to mention that so much. And I put it in like a weird glass because this is kind of a weird thing. These little weird creatures or whatever this thing is. And I was like, I'll put it in the weirdest glass I have. It wasn't a big glass, so when I went to go take a taste test, I pretty much downed the first glass. So I made a second glass. And it's actually pretty good. Easy to drink. It's actually nice. It's kind of equal parts of all three, yeah, it was pretty even. And it actually mixed very well. Because then I tried them individually. Pepsi, and it turns out I'm not that big of a fan of any of these three separately. I prefer cherry Pepsi. Don't care that much about Pepsi Zero. It's alright. I can drink it. The tea, Jack Daniel's hard tea. I've had some hard teas before that were okay. This was the worst one I've had of all the ones I've tried. But it was fine. I can drink them okay. I love, like, Simply Limeade, Simply Lemonade, Simply Pineapple. All those, probably one of the juices I drink the most. I do not like the Simply Spiked, and it's so sad. I don't know. They all taste weird. I drink them, and it's like, oh, this tastes like ash. For some reason, I don't know. It was just weird. But together, and maybe that was, nope. It's not just the blackberry because we got a variety pack. I'm trying the others now. I don't know. It was just weird, but together they're fine. Weirdly, they taste completely different. I tried them mixed together before I tried them separately. Actually, because they're not originally for me. I just used them for this. Oh, what to name it though? Blackberry. Another side of a blackberry. Other side. Blackberry's other side. Yeah, something like that. Blackberry, not the phone. I forgot about that. Blackberries, yeah, I'd say blackberries other side. Other side of blackberries? No, blackberries other side. I'll say something like that. And then one last thing, just kind of related. It's in the film. Not really like that important of a part. I'm going to mention it because of the coincidence. Maybe, definitely is. That the first night the two main characters are together, the little kid, the only thing to eat was berries and nuts. It didn't say blackberries, but I was like, dang, what are the chances? Berries. I only picked the berry part, or try to justify it for being like, I don't know. I think berries and cream. I think of stuff like that, being very European, mainly I don't know, British maybe, but and this kind of has like that Britishy folklore kind of feel to it. And so I was like, oh yeah, berries are like something there. I don't know where blackberries actually originate from. Probably, I don't know. They feel kind of, I don't know, North, South Americans, one of those. I don't know. But yeah, it was a decent drink. It works out, coincidentally enough, so I'm okay with it. As far as like alternatives, if I had anything else, I thought about actually making black tea and adding to that or doing something with that. I don't really remember much tea being in this, so maybe that wouldn't have mattered. Well, the two main characters, one's a child, so feels weird to make alcohol based off that. But it was also a very pale child. Now I'm just realizing now, like, the contrast between the two. So maybe if there was a drink, it'll be a small little sip of something white. What's a white drink? A white wine, maybe. Not. It's still a child though. I don't know. I don't really know of a good white drink off the top of my head. Maybe a milk, a milk of some kind, a milky alcohol. And then a much darker, like a stout kind of. Is this Irish? I don't know where I'm wanting to think of like an Irish liqueur, and then with like a obviously Irish stout, tall, and then a little tiny sip. I don't want to mix them together because that's a weird thing. But kind of drinking them together. It kind of makes sense. I don't know if this is Irish though, or I don't know, something like that. But those are the first two drinks that kind of came to my mind. I don't remember any actual drinking in this of anything really. I'm sure there was. I don't think there was any alcohol from what I remember, but I don't know. So yeah, that's my drink. The blackberries, other side. Just blackberry hard tea, blackberry hard limeade, and then just enough of a dark soda. I don't think the Pepsi matters. Maybe it did. Maybe it was the Pepsi specifically. But something dark kind of soda to make it darker. Yeah. So let's actually talk about this film. First off, why I chose it. Because I needed something to watch. I've been trying to find all the films on Crunchyroll. Because there's actually a decent amount. They don't really ever talk about them or advertise them in any ways. But I've just been trying to keep tabs on anime films I can watch on whatever platforms. Especially, you know, I've done a few from Amazon. I'm sure Netflix has a few. I haven't looked. Hulu, I'm sure it has some. But of course, mainly Crunchyroll. I wonder if Hot Dot has any. I should check that out. And there's a few. And I noted this one, and I remember it from a while ago because I saw it when I first saw it. Was like, is this not just Ancient Magnus Bride? And I just never had much interest in it. I didn't really know anything about it. Eventually, I learned a lot about it, and it is not like Ancient Magnus Bride at all. But it's just, at first glance, you're like, oh, these seem way too similar. They're not, though. One, because Ancient Magnus Bride, full series. This was a 3-part OAD. But then the other reason I chose to do this now is because finally catching up on anime, because I'm only watching 3 seasons, 3 series that are ongoing right now this season, because here's the thing, anime, not in a great position right now. If you are listening to this when it comes out, big disappointment in best anime of the year. Straight up just garbage anime. That is just a ripoff of a much better story, but people don't care because it's boom boom pow pow. Ooh, I got an attention span of a toddler. I don't need story. I just want shiny colors. Anyways, solo learning sucks. That's not what this is about though. What was the thing? Oh yeah, there's not a lot of anime coming out that I'm impressed with. And even what I am watching, I'm only watching some of it. I'm only watching because I'm continuing since I watched previous seasons. So I'm catching up on older stuff. One of those being Ancient Magnus Bride. Finally watching the second season. I've had it on my list for so long. I was okay with the first season of Ancient Magnus Bride. Kind of got a little mixed up because there was a bunch of other little things in between, mini seasons or stories in between. Wasn't sure exactly what that was. Watched it, realized I forgot a lot of where Ancient Magnus Bride left off. Then went to season 2, and I'm just watching it. I don't know. It's okay. Like at a school or something like that. So it's just almost feels like a different series, but that's not what I'm talking about. So I watched that. I already had this film, this OAD saved, and I was like, it'll be as good time as any to go ahead and watch this. I was almost going to go see the Auto concert film and do that. Not technically, I don't know if it's even a movie. Could be considered a movie. Just a recording of a concert. And also not anime. But Auto is great. And did a lot of anime film music. Like One Piece Red. Remember, a whole lot of other stuff coming out. Anyways. So that's why I chose The Girl from the Other Side. Watch on Crunchyroll. It is luckily subbed. I think there's a dub of it. I didn't even check. I didn't bother to check. I do know when looking up information, I saw there was a dub that was getting added to Crunchyroll whenever this did come out. But I didn't care because I'm not going to watch it dubbed if I have a choice. But yeah, it's 3-part OAD. I think I already said that. About 70 minutes in total. That came out on March 10th, 2022 on Crunchyroll. I'm assuming it came out on Crunchyroll. That's when it came out in general. There was in the past a 10-minute OAD came out September 10th, 2019. But yeah, it is getting into the informational side of things in case you don't want to look at Wikipedia on your own. No, it was originally a manga by Nagabe, published by Garden. Man, my handwriting sucks. I think it's Garden. Mag Garden and Monthly Comic Garden from September 6th, 2015 to March 5th, 2021. It's a monthly, so, but dang, 6 years? There must have been some breaks or something. Because if this is the these OAD is the entirety of the manga, which it can't be. Maybe it's like the first arc of the manga. It's really short. I don't know. Weird. But yeah, I also haven't heard of Mad Garden, so I need to look more into that. Because, trying to be more informed myself. And I think, am I right in thinking Ancient Madness probably originally started in this too? Maybe that's why there's similarities. The OAD was written and directed by Yutaro Kubo and Satomi Maya. Music by Schroeder Heads. Interesting thing. It was okay music. It was more like ambiance, except for like credits. Then the credits had actual music. I don't remember anything that stood out. It'd be like, oh, but it was like nice music that it fit the tone. But I'll talk about the animation, which it was from Wit Studio, and I gotta say, this is probably some of my least favorite animation I've seen because it has that like very heavy hand sketch style that I normally like, but it seems old, which I'm kind of okay with. Like, this is stuff I would expect from like just old cartoons, like mid-century 1900s, something like that. I don't know. But what, that part's like fine. Okay, that's a stylistic choice. I get it. It's just an OAD. What I didn't like and what kept bugging me, like actually bugging me to the point like it was just uncomfortable to watch, was like a weird flickering motion. And I get that it's like hand drawn, like frame by frame drawn. I'm assuming because that's what it seemed like. But it's like a weird flicking, like the shadows flicker on close, and there's not a fire or a light source, because that's kind of what I would think at first. Because eventually there is a point where there's a light, a candle or something, and then that actually looks a little better. But there's just random times you see the clothes. Maybe it's supposed to signify like the person shifting or clothes rippling. I don't know, but it's just flickers. But then there's times when there's not any of that. It's not on person. It's like a wall in a building, and that's fine. So I don't know what all the weird flickering is about. I don't know. If you showed me this and said it was like from the 40s, 60s, maybe, I don't know, somewhere in that time, whenever, I don't know, I'm thinking like Scooby-Doo, but Scooby-Doo looked better than this from what I remember. I'm thinking, the first thought was like old Popeye shows, because stuff like that. But like, if a little bit more artistic, it's just, I don't know. I wasn't crazy about the animation. It kind of bugged me a lot at times. I got over it and watched it. It was short, like I said, 70 minutes, so I can deal with that. But I don't think there's a time I've watched something for alcoholandanime and came to complain about it. There are some, like a lot of series I've seen and usually stop watching where the animation is like, oh no, I can't do it. Especially when they're trying to do like CGI stuff and it just looks terrible. Or there was one, I don't even remember. I'm not going to bother. Crunchyroll was really trying to push it hard and it was just terrible. I don't even remember what it was. I have just a vague sense of I can still be haunted by just visualizing the animation. Like Berserks, that was bad. And then just random times they try to throw in, like, I think it was the Spider anime. The times they would do it, especially towards the end, and it's just not there yet. Maybe it'll be better, but no, I can't do that. This is completely different though, so normally don't complain about that because I'm not the most artistically minded person to begin with. So I can look at things, but I like that, don't like that. I'm not usually one to be like, oh yeah, the way the art does this and this and this and blah blah blah, and the drawing or painting techniques, and I don't know all that stuff. I can just like, and that, I like that, I don't like that. That looks different than that, and then I can get that much done. I can just look at a American comic and manga and be like, yeah, these styles are different. Like these points are different, comparing them, but I can't tell you exactly what the art style is supposed to look like from nothing. Anyways, that's the informational part. Let's actually talk about what happens in here. It's pretty short. I don't know how much I'm actually going to have to say, so this might be the shortest episode of my podcast so far. But if you haven't guessed, there's going to be spoilers. You probably should be aware of that in case you want to watch this yourself. It's not bad, but it's not something I would recommend someone to watch because, oh yeah, you should go check this out. Even if you like Ancient Manus Bride, completely different now that I think about it. But yeah. So I'll start in parts. Not like it matters that much, but part one. It opens to like these scenes, almost like a video, like a reel, a video reel, like little scenes of an attack of happening on someone somewhere by something, and then you cut to a sleeping child in like a field or something, or in the woods, and then we go to which we find out name is Shiva. Then we cut to eventually the other main character you see, who gets the name Sensei eventually. Sensei, teacher in English, I guess. I have a teacher in my notes, so I guess that's what I keep saying. Yeah, and trying to think. Oh, I don't remember exactly how the teacher or Sensei wakes up Shiva or gets Shiva, because there's a big thing about not touching. So now I don't remember exactly how the teacher woke up Shiva, not by carrying. I do know at one point they're walking through the woods, so maybe he's just nudged Shiva awake with a stick or something. I don't remember. It's like one of the first scenes, but at the time I didn't think about it because I didn't know there was a no touching rule. Yeah, so that how it opens. Then we cut to like soldiers killing anyone suspicious. These outsiders, pretty much just like these black shadowy beings. Okay, and then one of the soldiers like sees Teacher and Shiva and like starts approaching, but then they vanish. And the soldier's like, the fuck. And then I don't know if it's the same soldier. I don't remember seeing this soldier touch another outsider or anything. Maybe did. Who knows? Or maybe it's just coincidental. There's other ways to get it. Be a cursed one. But we see this cursed soldier just lost in the woods. And you can see like the blackness. Almost like fur stuff too. Starting to like cover him. But that's all we get for a while with that soldier. It's like, oh, this is going to be the main like problem of these OADs. Well, we'll see where that goes. So yeah, now Teacher and Shiva are walking through the woods, going to some house. This is where we find out you can't touch for whatever reason. Yeah, and then this is where eventually get the house. A teacher says we'll take Shiva home the next day, but then has to go out to do stuff. Says There's berries and nuts to eat. And Shiva just seems fine. Nice little girl, just completely going with it. Pretty sure probably a village was attacked and lost family and all that stuff, so probably nowhere to go. Teacher comes back the next morning. Don't know what teacher's doing the whole night. Doesn't have to sleep. Kind of wish I had a different name, because saying teacher over again is kind of weird. But Shiva, I assume, went to sleep at some point and then got up early the next morning, or yeah, that must be it. Went and made like a little flower crown for a teacher. Came back, and I guess that was enough for teacher to be like, you know what, I'm going to keep you here for a while now. Or maybe went out. Maybe that night, teacher went out and back and went to the village to look and see what was going on, and then came back. So had that moment, was like, oh, you don't have anywhere to go anyways, I'll just keep you and raise you. And it's nice. There's just time passing them living together. You see it by how the vines are growing along the side of the house. They fix up the house a little bit together, just a little bit. And then, kind of to end this part, they're playing hide and seek, and while teacher is counting, sees another outsider along the wood line. And that's like the first part. So not a whole lot going on. It actually goes up pretty quick. Also, the credits are really long. For like, maybe they're not that long. No, they're definitely longer. Maybe they're just slow. But I think there's maybe like 20 minutes about of actual story, and then like over 5 minutes, or I think about 5 minutes of credits, which I would usually think about 20 and then 3 minutes. Maybe they're just slow, but it felt like really short to watch, and then just a long credits. And there's music, but nothing else, just words scrolling. But yeah, so that happens. There's no opening sequences either. So just long end credits, and maybe that's why. Which is also nice if there's in parts like this and it feels like it should be one video. You don't need an opening in between each time. Honestly, I don't know why it's in 3 parts. It should have just been one. I don't know why Crunchyroll does that. Like if they take a movie and expand it into a series, that makes sense. Kind of like what they did with Mugen Train. Mugen Train was fine. Once they made it into like episodes, I actually liked it a lot better. Especially when they added the like extra episodes at the beginning for Rengoku, because it gives you a reason to actually care. Mugen Train's overhyped. I like it, but didn't need to come back in theaters just for 4K. So I'm not seeing that. If you're wondering, are you going to do that? Nah. Still debating if I'm going to see the other Demon Slayer movies, just because it pisses me off that they're separating it into 3 movies. To end it. Anyways, let's move on to part 2. This one also doesn't have much. It kind of does. So teacher talks to this outsider, pretty much telling teacher to return the soul, assuming Shiva, to mother, before it's too late. Don't know what that really means. It just feels like it's a sacrifice, I guess, or to make Shiva an accursed one, or do something. I don't know. Don't know who mother is yet at this point. But then, I don't know, teacher gets overly protective or doesn't know what to do. Gives Shiva a locket of teacher's human family back. A spouse and a child. Don't really know anything else about it. Teacher was like sort of protective of this locket, but also kind of wants nothing to do with it. It's a weird feelings for it. Oh, here's a little note I put. There's a lot of noticeable almost touching, but there's not really reaction. It's not like they're touching. They're like, oh, there's one moment they did that, like at near the beginning, and it's like, oh, and it kind of left off. The rest of the time, it's like almost going to touch, hesitation, and then didn't. There was a lot of that, and enough for me to know and be like, that's weird. I don't know. It must be intentional, but maybe it was hinting at something. I don't know. But then it seems like it's okay to touch through clothes. So I don't know why a teacher doesn't just wear gloves the whole time. Then it should be okay. I don't know the rules of all this. I don't know. It's a note I took down, so I guess I should address it. Anyways, I guess that night, Shiva dreams a shadow figure surrounding. Yeah, being surrounded by these shadowy figures, other outsiders. And now that I'm thinking about it, because they meet more outsiders later, no, I don't think these were outsiders. I think they were just shadowy, like, humanoid figures. Maybe, like, people from the past, or whenever, village got destroyed or whatever. And it's just, like, haunting Shiva. I don't know. I don't remember them actually being outsiders. But, also in the dream, teacher comes to save and comfort Shiva. So it's nice. It's such a nice time. And some of it the story more starts to remind me of Somali and the Force Guardian, Force Spirit, whatever that one is. I really like that one. I'm starting to get more of that vibe from this than Ancient Magus Pride. But, yeah. Having that dream. And then, there's also a thing of, it happens multiple times of the teachers dropping books. And I don't know if there's something wrong with the teacher's hand. But, like, it happens, but then it's not really addressed. Besides, she would be like, you okay? It's like, does anything come from this? This must not be the whole series. I feel like this is stuff that would come out more and more and throughout the actual manga series. Because all this is like, what was the point? Like the not touching part or almost touching part, I actually do get for later. But the hand thing or dropping books, coincidence? Maybe they just forgot they did it already. I don't know. But now, because of this outsider coming and visiting and what it said, teacher wants to go on a little trip to find a village to take Shiva in order to be safe. Which is a wild thing to think when villages are getting destroyed. So I don't know why you think you would be safe in any village. Maybe a large city with a lot more protection. I don't know. But they do. They go. Do we see another little scene of like outsider animals gathering, talking, assuming about Shiva? And then they also reference that soldier again, who is now just fully covered, just walking around kind of aimlessly, it seems like. And that was it. Just a quick cut. Just to know, oh, you're still there. Cool. You're going to be the main problem of this series, aren't you? We'll continue to see later. Anyways, so Teacher Shiva, they are traveling. They find an abandoned village. A farm village. Still has sheep in it. So I guess other animals aren't affected. But the teacher goes looking through the houses to make sure while Shiva stays in the field looking at flowers. She was like, these flowers are weird, or it's just weird, and doesn't want to, or wants to show teacher. Teacher's like, nah, you just say that, I'm going to look around. But if teacher would have looked around, probably would have noticed there's a bunch of trees with clothes on them, hanging from them. Not like they're wearing clothes, but there's clothes hanging. I was like, oh, something bad happened here, and slung clothes all over the place. Kind of. So while she was out in the field, teacher's looking, the soldier appears. Ooh, all creepy. Coming out, slowly trying to eventually touch Sheila for some reason. Not in a perv way. Still a creepy way, but not perv, I guess. Teacher's like, oh no, tries to stop it. Not in too much of a hurry, but seems desperate. And then right when the soldier is about to touch Shiva, just grows into a big tree that also has clothes hanging from it. So we can piece together that the villagers turned into trees. They were nice enough to go along to the rest of the trees and then turn into trees and still hang on to clothes. So it's not exactly what I thought. Also, definitely thought the soldier would play a bigger part. That was it. Soldier pops up, almost touches Shiva, and then it's like, boop, I'm a tree now. Oh, okay. Cool. And then this is kind of, I don't know what was happening. I didn't miss it, but it was kind of like weird to understand. Pretty sure Shiva tells teacher about a dream, and through this and like how Shiva talks or whatever, I think teacher concludes Shiva is actually already cursed. There's no signs of it, or maybe it's a different kind of curse. I don't know. I don't really get it. It's like it either went by fast or I blinked or I just didn't understand it quite exactly. But that's what it seemed like. But yeah, that's the end of part 2. Like, it had a moment in there. Kind of a somewhat creepy moment. But yeah, not much else going on for it there. So yeah, part 3. There you're staying at another house. I don't know if it's even the same like farm village house, or if they kept going, found a different abandoned village or whatever. And then some person actually stops by. Knocks on the door. Teacher goes and talks through the door. And a person is like inviting them to a village. And then from that village they're going to go off to, I think, a bigger city. Is that right? Am I making up this stuff? I don't know. That's what I feel like was going to happen. And then this next part, I absolutely don't understand. I don't know what was going on. I don't know if something that person did made teacher suspicious. Maybe had ill intentions. It was some kind of ploy to take Shiva. I don't know. Because teacher follows the person with an axe as if ready to kill. And then, like, has doubts and starts to not do that. But then the person, like, turns around, shoots teacher, and tries to attack. Teacher defends, and then the person kills himself. And it's like, what was the point? What was the point of all this? I think kills himself to not be cursed, but teacher's like, I didn't even touch you. But straight up, the person tackled teacher. Teacher straight up, moved the person off. It's like, well, you did kind of touch him. I don't know what the touching... I don't know the significance about this touching. And how it actually works. But yeah, and then that happened. I don't understand it. I don't know what the point was. Maybe there wasn't a village at all. Huh. Then... Looking... Okay. Then the outsider shows up. I think it's the same one. Maybe not. Maybe it's just others. They kind of look similar. And then teacher wants to go somewhere. So takes sleeping Shiva, who I guess not concerned about touching anymore at this point because I maybe already cursed. While Shiva is sleeping, they go underwater. Magically. Who knows? To a giant hole that apparently is where Mother resides, who I guess Mother be a big hole. That's weird. I shouldn't say stuff like that. That's weird. Yeah, and then this is where it clicked to me. I was like, oh, Shiva really was already cursed. I'm not misunderstanding things. Unless I still am. I don't know. And teacher wants Mother to break the curse. Whatever it takes. And then this part, I don't know if it actually happens like this or if it's just artistic imagery to make it look special. But it seems like Shiva turns into a white flower. Then teacher turns into a tree. It all kind of seems like a weird dream. I don't get it. It goes on for this little sequence. And then they both leave the water back to normal. But... now still has the white flower. I don't know if this white flower was anywhere else before. I'm only just now noticing it because it seemed like Shiva turned into it, but now Shiva's not it, but the white flower's still here. Then they put it into the locket. I don't remember who's keeping the locket. I assume they're just going to stay together, so it probably doesn't matter. And then I guess they're just leaving and going back home. Well, first... for some reason, Shiva leaves a blanket behind for the dog outsider just there. Just a little moment, just like, here you go. Doesn't even say anything, really. Just like, here's a blanket there. There's a dog outsider looking thing just there, waiting. I was like, okay, it's nice, I guess. There's so much stuff, and it's like, is there a point behind this? Is there some kind of significance? I don't know. But yeah, now they're going to continue their journey a little bit more, and it ends with them looking back at their original home, I guess. Yeah, that's it. And then it just ends. So, yeah, it just ends. Nothing else. Credits roll. I don't know. So thinking back on like why it keeps seeming like they almost kept touching, there's that hesitation, and why they did it was kind of to be like, oh, it didn't matter. Like, you probably could have touched each other and it would have been okay. But it also is like, okay, well, if you can still touch your clothes, it's not like it matters that much. Yeah. So I think it was just a reference, like, oh, no, it ended up not even mattering, and she was already cursed this whole time, so it would have been fine. It's like, okay, that's cool. And then another thing. Like, okay, the soldier was a disappointing thing. I was like, it ended up not really mattering. Now I don't know why. If it gives you a reason to see how these curses can work, turn into trees, sure, that was information. But what an actual significant part is, and could be interpreted differently, is the original outsider that came and talked to teacher. Actually ended up being a good thing. I don't know if this was like a good character, but that happening ended up being a good thing. If Shiva was already cursed, before teacher found Shiva in the woods, sleeping, whatever, then eventually something would have happened unexpectedly, or it would have gotten bad and worse. And so this outsider comment, saying all this, whether it was ill intended or not, ended up saving Shiva and, I guess, teacher. So yeah, good thing. I don't know if that was intention. I don't know if that's how it was supposed to seem like. That's how, by the end of it, I felt like it was. It's one of those, like, good things were actually bad. Whatever. Yeah. Bad things actually good. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I really have to say about it. It's not much going on. It didn't need to be split up in parts. Still don't know why that happened. I don't know if it came out in different parts, and that's why Crunchyroll did it. But I'm trying to think if there was anything else that happened in this film. I don't think so. I think that was pretty much it. I don't know. If you can check it out for yourself. I don't think there was anything bad about it besides the animation being a little annoying. So if you just are scrolling like, oh, I'll check this out, and have about a little over an hour to kill, and you like these kind of like not really intense, but like kind of chill, a little heartwarming kind of things, it'll be something nice to see. It just didn't do much for me. But yeah, I guess that's all I have to say. I feel like I'm stalling. There must have been more in the manga, right? Like, must be it. This probably would have been like a first arc kind of thing, if anything. But then what else would have happened? I haven't read the manga at all, so I don't know. I'm just speculating. Nah, it'll be fine. No more rambling. Let's just end this. Let me know what you thought of this, of course. Any drink suggestions, maybe even just blackberry drink suggestions. What you thought of my drink. That's it. Not much else to say. If you have already watched it, all that stuff, what would you compare it to more? I don't like that. I don't like comparing too much. I like try to talk about things as its own original thing, and I did literally compare it to Ancient Man Sprite and Somali and the Force Spirit. But yeah, let's just talk about stuff in general. Do I have a different question about, I don't know, then what's a better name for my drink? I normally try to post a question in especially Spotify polls. I don't really have one for this one, so I can't lead with it. Which part was better, 1, 2, or 3? Was this a good or bad ending? I don't know, stuff like that. What was the point of the soldier? Who was the coolest outsider? Maybe that. I don't know. What's the best outside drink? Or what drink would you drink on the other side? I don't know, because I still have to think of a title for this. Uh, and there's always a question, something like that. I don't know. But yeah, let's just talk about whatever. You can do that. Comments if that's available. Social media, the AC Stories. Email theacstories@gmail.com. I have a Discord you can join. We can talk about all kinds of stuff there. Links will be in the description for all of that. But yeah, that is it for this alcohol anime. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Sure. Why not? Thank you. I'm going to mention it one last time. To my Patreon and Ko-fi supporter, Julio Vasquez. If you also want to help support me, you get these shout outs. I have a bunch of different tiers. As a lot of it is writing. You get notes, other kind of stories, personalized stories, stuff like that. Just check it out. You don't have to. I appreciate it either way. But yeah, that is going to be it. I have been your otaku tainer, the AC Stories. Until next month. Bye.